Here the question say double slit interference experiment. Two coherent beams have slightly different intensities, I and I plus delta I. The delta I is very small compared to I. Show that the intensity at the maxima is nearly 4I, while that at the minima is nearly delta I whole square by 4I. We have an expression for maximum intensity and minimum intensity in terms of I1 and I2. Before that, let's assume I1 as I and I2 as I plus delta I. The maximum intensity formula is root I1 plus root I2 the whole square. Just substitute I1 as I, I2 as I plus delta I. As per the question, it say the delta I is very small compared to I. So you can neglect the delta I part. It become root I plus root I whole square. Means 2 root I the whole square will become 4I. So first part is done. The maximum intensity is approximately 4I by neglecting delta I compared to I, which is already given in the question. For minimum, expression similar to the maximum is root I1 minus root I to the whole square. Again, you try substituting the I value as I plus delta I. Before that, we already know there's a denominator which is 4I. So keeping that in mind, 4I, we're just multiplying the numerator and denominator by root I1 plus root I2 whole square. Keeping in mind, we need 4I finally in the denominator. We can solve the same steps. So root I1 minus root I2 whole square up and down multiplied with root I1 plus root I2 the whole square. Numerator, you can take the common square out. A minus B into A plus B will be A square minus B square on the way. Denominator, we keep it separate so that we can already solve. We already solved it as 4I. Now A plus B into A minus B will be A square. Root I1 square is I1. B square I2 the whole square. Now you can substitute I1 and I2. I1 as I root I1 as I and I2 as I plus delta I. Even on the numerator you can substitute now the same thing. So I1 is I minus I plus delta I. The I get cancelled. You get a delta I negative. Doesn't matter because it's going to be squared. Denominator again as per before, we neglect delta I because it's very small compared to I. So I plus I will become 2 root I. Here you can't neglect the delta I part because once you neglect that, the equation becomes 0. There is no meaning of solving that. So the neglecting the very small change is to get the solution even with a slight difference without much difficulties. But if you neglect it totally and the result becomes 0, there is no meaning of neglecting. So the approximation is applicable only to get the question solved with a slight difference, but you can't make it 0. So numerator you can approximate it as I1 equal to I2. But here it's plus, it doesn't make any 0 or calculation becoming totally absurd answers. Only help you to calculate the answer very easily. So you get minus delta I whole square by 2 root I whole square. 2 root I again similar to this 4I. It's delta I square. Minus doesn't matter because it's positive whole square.